What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode review for Shenmue the Animation. This is episode 3, and with me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
hmm So we've kind of had like some nitpicks about Shenhua in the past, and of course, once again
Shenhua
we're
is a broken record at this point. I'm so tired of hearing her say the same thing, and I get it. I get why she says it. She said it in the game, like, I think once, like, in the intro, of course, but in the anime, she said it like every time they come back to her. She repeats herself about how, and she wasn't even talking to anybody in the beginning of this episode. She's just talking to herself, about how, Amanda will come from across the sea, etc. About the prophecy, I guess. But I mean, at least we kind of get a reason why she keeps saying it, because of how it's like, I guess, a legend in her village or something.
Yeah, but we don't need to keep going back to her every time and then having her recite that poem over and over again. I mean, I don't know what
starting to get very annoying. Like, I don't really know why they continue to do this. I mean, I guess for the first couple times, I thought it was just because of it being it being animated around the same time Shenmue 3 came out, so they want to show the Shenmue 3 characters. But I really hope that they don't keep doing it every episode, because it really is going to get really annoying. Because, like I said, it kind of just gets rid of the mystery aspect of her character and everything going on in Bailu Village. I really don't feel like it's necessary to show that, because it's not really that important to the plot anyway, of the first two games, of the first game, or most of the second game anyway. Maybe for the third game, but not for the first two.
Yeah, I just don't know what I guess the creative reasoning as to why they want to keep showing Shenhua over and over and over again. I mean, we know she's an important character. She's not a bad character, but I just don't like the way that they're handling her. Like, just having her inserted like on almost every single episode, like this. So I don't know. I think, I'm pretty sure they're just gonna keep doing it like over and over again until like the end of the season. But yeah, I just really wish that they really didn't have to do this every time. Okay, yeah, so like we go back to the main storyline, and Rio finally ends up finding someone who can translate the ancient dialect of Chinese. So he runs into the kid he helped out in the last episode, who had his balls stolen by several of Charlie's goons. So the kid takes Rio to like a Chinese antique shop, where he introduces him to, I guess, the kid's grandmother, who tells Rio that the dialect has to be read through a mirror. And it, of course, like, because I guess like the a lot of the Chinese dialect is like written backwards or something like that. So it's pretty much a warning to Rio's father that that someone is coming from for the mirrors, and of course he has to seek out Master Chen for help. And of course Rio doesn't know who Chen is, so he does get like some kind of like a code messaging in the letter, where he calls into I guess one of Chen's handlers by reciting the code again, and then meet with Master Chen at Yokosuka Harbor.
Yeah, I remember this part in the game where you actually had to call and recite the code properly. I was thinking, like, during the scene, it would have been kind of funny if Rio would have messed up at least once, like, not have recited it properly and then called back again and actually recited it properly. But I mean, I guess I'm, mostly fine with the way they handled that scene.
Yeah. So, so Rio does manage to get over to the harbor, and then he runs into Chen's son, I can't pronounce his name. Guizang? That's his name?
Yeah, I think so. Well, of course, before this happens, he does run into a gang, I guess, or some goons trying to rough up somebody. I forget what the side character's name is, but like he does show up a few times in the first game. But yeah, he like beats up on him and lets the guy they were beating up go. And this is where we get introduced to this character, who is just again, I forget his name, but he does show up every now and again in the game, basically trying to help out Rio. Like pretty much after he beats him up, like, you know, or intimidates him, you know, he just agrees to, you know, just help out Rio, and that's kind of what he does in this scene, because he tells him where he can, I guess, where he can find, what was it, Master Chen, and also tips him off that
that the guards are what was it?
It's not as heavy security at like 7 in the evening or something.
Yeah. So Rio ends up sneaking into the harbor with the security as low as it is, and So like I said, he ends up meeting Mr. Chen and his son, and of course they have a discussion talking about the mirror that Londi ended up taking from his father. But Chen reveals that the one Londi took is one of two pieces. The first one that Londi took was I think was the dragon mirror, and there's also a second mirror that Rio's father also had in his possession, which is also contains the Phoenix mirror.
Yeah, and he does kind of say, like, apparently if you combine the dragon mirror and the Phoenix mirror, then ancient god will come out or something. It basically sounds like the apocalypse will happen, more or less, I guess, if the two mirrors are combined. And of course, Londi didn't know that. Because we eventually find out that that Rio's father must have been in possession of the Phoenix mirror, and of course, Londi didn't know that at the time, and he just walked away with the dragon mirror. And that Londi is still trying to find the Phoenix mirror. Another thing I should point out too, aside from showing the us getting these scenes with Shenhua, we also get a few scenes with where we see what Londi's up to. Again, I don't really feel like these add much to the plot, but I guess they're kind of interesting. You know, it's kind of interesting that they added these in, where Londi, I guess, is investigating on his own and trying to find out, I guess, where the mirror might be.
Yeah, and but of course this leads him back to traveling back to Hong Kong. While Rio, of course, decides to look for the second mirror that his father also possessed. So the first place he goes to is as an antique shop, but he receives, I think it was like what do you call those things that goes on katanas? It's
like a hilt. Or
those little guard things that they put on the katanas. Next to the hilt.
Yeah, something like that. And of course, it's like his family crest. So So Rio goes back to the complex and tries to look for the Phoenix mirror, but of course he has no luck finding it at first. Until he realizes while he's helping cleaning the place, he finds that there are like 2 slots on the wall right behind like these 2 banners, where the first one is like it has his family crest, and the second one looks like something else can be inserted through it. So Rio goes back to his to his father's room and takes out like a katana that's they had in his collection, and uses both the family crest on the left slot and the sword on the right slot, which opens up a hidden basement. Yeah. Like this, he's before the scene, he is like trying to find out where where it could be hidden. There is like a conversation he has with Hana, was it Hanasaki?
Nozomi.
Nozomi and her friend, and I guess the conversation is about where a girl, I guess, might hide something she wants to keep secret, and they bring up like a secret room, and that's kind of what I guess ends up sort of tipping off Rio that that might be where the mirror is hidden, I guess. But yeah, of course, like you said, he finds a secret room, and that's pretty much where he finds the Phoenix mirror, which is in a chest. And also where he finds a photo of his father, and I guess and some mysterious man.
Yeah, it is pretty much. It's important. Like whoever's played through, I think it was what was it, Shenmue 3 or was it
Mhm.
on Shenmue 2? Yeah, but
Uh,
anyway, so he takes the Phoenix Mirror back to Mr. Chen, and they they pretty much discuss on like a like, Rio discusses his next move and wanting to go after Londi to avenge his father, but also go get retrieve the dragon mirror that he took. But of course, before he can do that, I think it was Chai barges in and tries to steal the Phoenix mirror from him, and he nearly escapes before Rio manages to stop him from escaping by moving one of the cranes up top.
yeah. Yeah, and of course, Chai gives up and jumps out the window again. So Rio ends up, not getting the Phoenix mirror back. One thing I should point out about the Chen and the I guess his the guy that works with him is that they're like both like father and son, and it's something that kind of gets brought up a few times in the episode.
Hmm.
Like every time he calls him father. Shen is like, don't refer to me that way, or I guess when they're working, don't you shouldn't call him that.
Yeah, and of course, I think it was earlier on in the episode. Chen's son tails Rio on several occasions and tells him that he's going to be his bodyguard moving forward or something like that.
Well, of course, before he tells him that, he actually attacks Rio.
Yeah,
and he
well,
says,
basically, he's just testing
yeah,
him.
yeah,
Yeah.
This did happen in the game, and I mean, at least they kind of they brought that part, they brought that over. But yeah, like, yeah, so he's, I guess, he's going to be trying to protect Rio from now on in a way.
Hmm. Yeah. So, but yeah, so Rio like gets told that Londi is heading back to Hong Kong, and Rio decides to pursue him after that, and that's pretty much where the episode ends from there.
Yeah, I will say I do remember some of the things that are going to happen after this episode. There are definitely things I hope they adapt for the anime, and I hope they don't really like rush through it. Because I do remember this being like a kind of a big deal in the game, just Rio trying to get to Hong Kong, because he does go through a lot just trying to get over there.
Yeah.
Without spoiling too
think
much, I will say he does like, so he tries he does try to get like a I guess like a plane ticket or something to fly there, but there of course he ends up finding out that the organization he got it from is kind of not legitimate, and this is where we get into Rio trying to get a job and all that stuff. So it does kind of like lead into quite a few things that I hope, like I said, I hope they don't really like rush through this, because like in the game this did take quite a bit of time for Rio to, I guess, get really get enough money or to be able to actually go to Hong Kong.
Hmm. I kind of feel like that we'll probably get to the events of Shenmue 2 probably by episode 5 or 6 or something like that, because I think like
I mean,
think
and
that's
that
where
would
they're
be
going.
like halfway through the season. So
I think it's very likely that we'll get to the Shenmue 2 plot by the halfway point.
which if we're which concerns me that means that the events of Shenmue 2 are going to be heavily condensed, because there were quite a few things that happened in Shenmue 2. So I'm not really sure how they're going to handle it for the rest of the season. But yeah, with the episode, I don't really have too much to say about it. It didn't really feel quite as fast paced as some of the, I guess really like the first episode in particular. It feels like the pace is kind of like slowed down a little bit. I could be wrong, because it has been a long time since I played the game. So I'm pretty sure they are glossing over quite a few things. But as far as I remember, there's nothing, they're not really skipping anything that's really like important or anything like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really have too much else to say about it. I don't know if you have anything else to say.
I think this episode was a little bit better than the last episode. Definitely the plot progressed a lot more in this episode compared to the last one, which was a little bit slower. The one thing I'm still criticizing is just like them reusing the Shenhua stuff over and over again, and her reciting that poem. again and again.
Yeah.
It's just getting old at this point, and then they seriously need to stop unless you know they already put like so many Shenhua scenes in like every episode at this point.
Yeah, I can understand like what they're trying to do with Shinhua, but I really don't feel like it's necessary. Um, I feel like, you know, like her character should just be developed. Like if they ever do like for instance, if they ever do like a Shenmue 3 anime or something, that would be where they could develop her character. They really don't need to like introduce us to her everything about her character like right off the bat, like with them adapting the first game.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like that's kind of I don't really agree with that decision. But yeah. So I guess that all being said, until next Sunday, we will see you all next time.